Over the last 230 years, generations of treasure hunters have tirelessly labored on Oak Island to reach the bottom of the so-called Money Pit, an ingeniously designed shaft that featured platforms of oak logs every 10 feet, down to a depth of at least 90 feet. There, a stone-lined flood tunnel connected to the ocean has thwarted every effort to recover whatever lies buried deeper below.
In 1897, Frederick Blair, a businessman, and William Chappell, a drill operator, took to the Money Pit to crack the mystery once and for all.
They started drilling deeper and deeper, reaching the 153 feet mark. And at that point, they felt they were drilling through wood, concrete, empty void. You know, in other words, every indication that they had hit, in their belief, a treasure vault.
The thought was, we might have hit a chamber, and then, well, they really hit a jackpot there, because when they brought the auger up, they found flecks of gold on it. This was highly significant. Really makes you wonder what's down there.
Countless searchers have spent years and their own fortunes trying to determine what truly lies at the bottom of the Money Pit. And it has caused many to ask the question, just who could have constructed such elaborate subterranean structures to hide it? One of the boldest and most challenging theories points to a famed medieval order of Christian warrior monks known as the Knights Templar.
It's something that's fascinated Templar historians. And one of the things that we're obviously fascinated by is the idea that the Knights Templar could have gone to Oak Island with sacred treasure. So could the Money Pit be somewhere where Templar treasure is stored?
For nearly 2 centuries, the Templars expanded in numbers and power, while establishing strongholds not only in the Middle East, but throughout European nations, such as France, Italy, England, and Portugal. They also created the world's first banking system, allowing them to amass great wealth. But by the early 14th century, King Philip IV of France became deeply indebted to the Templars, and Pope Clement V grew suspicious of their growing autonomy from the Church. And so, on Friday the 13th, 1307, King Philip and the Pope conspired to persecute and dissolve the Templar Order by accusing them of heresy.
In 1307, arrest warrants go out across France and then across the whole of Europe to arrest, imprison, torture, and execute the Knights Templar. Now, some people believe they managed to get their wealth onto wagons down to the port of La Rochelle in France, and from there it sailed out to the New World.
Were the Knights Templar able to secretly transport their treasure to the New World and perhaps bury it on a remote island off the coast of Nova Scotia? And if so, is there any physical proof of the Templars and their treasure on Oak Island? For more than a decade, brothers Rick and Marty Lagina, joined by a team of treasure hunters, archaeologists, and historians,
Holy shamoly!
have been unearthing structures and artifacts across Oak Island that may date back to between the 13th and early 14th centuries, when the Templars were at the height of their power.
Another one here, Rick.
Then, in 2017, Rick Lagina and metal detection expert Gary Drayton uncovered a small artifact at Smith's Cove.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What?
That may be directly connected to the Order.
Holy shamoly, all right. That looks like medieval, a medieval cross. That's really old.
I've seen that shape before. I swear that'll tell the tale how old it is, that shape.
For the Oak Island team, the discovery of what appeared to be a Templar cross was a thrilling possibility. But in order to validate it,
So, Jack, if you can ring Tobias up.
Sure.
they had it analyzed by German chemist Tobias Skafronik, who was able to use isotope data from the lead in the cross to determine where and when it originated.
I compared the lead isotope data of the cross that you gave me with those of deposits where archaeologists know medieval mining took place, and I think I found a match there.
Really? Yeah. And time period-wise, you think it's pre-15th century then?
I think it's pre-15th century, yes.
Wow.
You nailed it, Gary.
Yeah.
Where the heck did it come from?
The data of the cross is very consistent with the area of southern France.
Look at him, look at him. He's grinning like a Cheshire cat over there.
That's fantastic.
That cross is associated with the Templar-influenced region in France. It's certainly the time of the Templars, 1300s, 1400s, or even earlier. All of that is astounding news. But it's not just the one item, it's what that item represents, and that item represents possibilities.
After traveling throughout Europe, in search of connections between the lead cross found at Smith's Cove and the Knights Templar, it is perhaps fitting that one of the Oak Island team's most recent discoveries regarding the lead cross happened back on the island itself.
Okay, mate. Let's see what we got on there.
In 2022, team members Gary Drayton and Jack Begley conducted metal detecting scans on the western side of Oak Island
Try and find it.
and discovered an artifact that shed new light on the lead cross.
It's in my hand. Let's see what we got. What have we got, mate?
That looks like an
Yeah, you
old
see
coin.
that nice and round shape? Please, please, please be a coin.
I think it
I'm gonna
is.
pull it out. Look how round it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but it's lead. Now it could be like a token, mate. That is unusual.
Is it possible that the token uncovered by Gary and Jack dates to the same time period as the lead cross and also be connected to the Knights Templar?
I say we take this back to the lab and get the archaeologists checking this out and working on it.
This was a pretty easy object to ablate because it was flat. The biggest result is that isotopically, it looks very similar to the cross.
No way.
It's about the closest thing to the cross that has crossed our path in the lab here.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, not me either.
I mean, I can also tell you that it does fit just like the cross with sources in Europe. And it certainly fits still with a French source. It's close in terms of the isotopic composition. Like the actual value is essentially identical.
To find a friend of the cross, possibly, right there on Lot 5, that's brilliant.
The lead in the disc apparently matches virtually identically with the lead from the lead cross. That is a head scratcher. And another very significant thing that could tie the Templars here is if we find the Y, all those other W's are going to fall right into place.
For the Oak Island team, the revelation that the lead in the token and the cross match was a validation of years of research and investigation. And although conclusive evidence has not yet been found, the team has become more convinced than ever that the Knights Templar and the lead cross are at the heart of the Oak Island mystery.
The lead cross is a very curious object, and it's definitely related to the Templars. And it is one of the most important clues that the Templars may have made the journey across the Atlantic to Oak Island.
When I'm by myself and think about this Templar theory, it just seems so outlandish. And yet, we have very ancient things here. You can't say that theory seems ridiculous or outlandish and then ignore evidence that it could actually be real. It's so romantic to think that the Templars come to this tiny nondescript island, they do this incredible amount of work, and then put an X on the ground on Oak Island. It doesn't prove anything, but may ultimately assist us in finding the original money pit, and that's the goal.